Hello everyone, I am the Crimson Cadaverous and this is Tank, and we're wishing you a very happy new moon in Cancer, which peaks on July 9th at 8:19 p.m. Central Time, and this is going to be a very emotional, sensitive new moon. It's going to be our opportunity to come back home to ourselves. And when I say come back home to ourselves, I don't necessarily just mean the physical space that we occupy, our house, our apartment, wherever we live. I mean any space that we occupy at all, whether that be the earth, whether that be our communities, whether that be our body, which is our shell, of course that's the home for our soul. We're going to reevaluate how we show up in these spaces. And, like I said, we're going to have an exercise at the end of this that we do with that. But I want to talk a little bit about Cancer and specifically this new moon in Cancer. So Cancer is a water sign, so it's ruled by emotions. It's very sensitive. It is the ruler of the fourth house, which, of course, rules the home, so our roots. And Cancer is also ruled by the crab. So think about the hermit crab. So I actually pulled my hermit crab out for this video. And the hermit crab doesn't create its own home. It finds a discarded home from someone else. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to build your own home to, appreciate the space that you're occupying and make it your own. So that's what the hermit crab does. It makes the space its own. And it makes do with what it has. It's not necessarily always going to be, the exact shape or size that it needs it to be, but it makes do with it. So if we're looking ahead, reading chapters ahead to a couple weeks from now, the Aquarius full moon that we're going to experience, that full moon is going to be all about sacrificing our personal desires for the greater good. So it's going to be kind of like a humanitarian rebellious moment. So this Cancer new moon is kind of getting us ready for that, in my opinion, because again, it's all about coming back home to ourselves. So being comfortable in our own space and feeling that, we're protected and that we're cared for, even if it's just us that's caring for us. So as you all know, I'm a tarot card reader. I love doing tarot readings. If you're interested in a reading, you definitely should contact me. I'll put some information in the description of this video. But I love to pull tarot cards specifically for the lunar cycles. It helps us just kind of understand and explain what's going on with it using the wonderful imagery of the tarot. So I actually use my Wonderland deck, which of course uses imagery from Alice in Wonderland. And I pulled some cards today that I'm going to have here for you. But I'm also going to put them up here in case you'd like to pause the video and meditate on them. I definitely suggest doing that. There's some really fun, whimsical imagery in those cards. So the first card that I pulled is the Chariot. And the reason why I pulled that card specifically is because that's the card that corresponds to Cancer in this tarot. So the Chariot is all about direction and control and willpower and harnessing the chaos. And so it might not necessarily be the first card that you think about with Cancer. First thing I would actually think about is the moon, which is the next card that I pulled. That card actually corresponds to Pisces, though, another water sign. But I do kind of understand, the harnessing of the chaos, movement in the form of growth. That's kind of, again, we go back to the concept of the hermit crab. The hermit crab kind of like grows into his home. So that's almost, kind of how we connect that energy of the Chariot to Cancer, is that, the Chariot is very driven to basically, harness the chaos around it, and like make a stable, happy home is how, I connect the Chariot and Cancer. And again, like I mentioned, I pulled the moon, and the planetary ruler of Cancer is the moon, and the moon is all about illusions and emotions and the unconscious and dreams. And those are definitely things that, correspond with Cancer as well, that watery emotional sign. So it's definitely a time, especially, when we're looking at the new moon, which basically means the moon, is not visible to us, to consider any illusions that we have in our life, any, veil that we have over our eyes, that might be preventing us from seeing the truth and understanding, again, how we need to come back home to ourselves. So the last card that I pulled is the Ten of Hats, and the Ten of Hats is the card of home and hearth. We see Alice sitting there very content in her chair. It definitely seems like she's come back home to herself. And, she seems to really be counting her blessings and almost having like a happily ever after moment. And that's definitely the energy that we should want for ourselves. And, it's definitely the energy that Cancer wants for us, So we really want to take this opportunity of this time, where we're starting fresh with, the Cancer energy, that like coming back home, that like establishing roots energy to, like I said, renovate our home. And like I said, I put an exercise together, which I actually did this exercise myself. I always do the exercises before, I put it on video. And I found it, to be really cathartic, because it made me really consider, all the different aspects of my life and, how I'm showing up in the spaces that I occupy. So what I've basically done is I've kept it very simple. I'm going from the concept of we're renovating our home. So I want to look at the different spaces that I occupy and think about how I need to clean up those spaces, what I personally can do to clean up those spaces, because again, going into a new moon, we want to clear out the old so we can get ready for the new beginning of the new moon. So again, what do we need to do to remodel those spaces? So I picked 9 different areas that I believe we can consider our homes. And again, I've divided it up into, what I think I need to clean up in that space and what I need to remodel or build in that space. So feel free to kind of tailor this however works for you and your energy and what calls to you. But I came up with 9 different spaces that I'm evaluating, and we can definitely go over those. So the first space that I want to talk about is the universe. We all occupy the universe, no matter, where we are. The universe is our home, and we really want to consider the energy that we're putting out into the universe. And that's definitely, something to really evaluate as you're considering the universe your home. Whatever energy you're putting out into the universe, it kind of reflects on what you're looking for out of your life. So if you're putting a bunch of negative energy into the universe, that's just what you're going to get back. So we definitely want to see what we can do to clean up that negative energy and, remodel by adding more positive energy and action and love and gratitude into the universe. So, of course, the next home that we're going to occupy is Mother Earth. We all occupy Mother Earth, at least for now. We keep talking about Mars. I don't know why, because this planet's a lot better, but, we don't need to get into that. But we've got Mother Earth that we occupy, and we really want to think about what we personally can do to clean up Mother Earth. Whether that be actually cleaning up trash, just cleaning up the environment. And what can we do to remodel our Earth, to make it better for all of us? What can we personally do? So that's some things that we're going to be writing down. So next we have our country. And whatever country you live in, I'm assuming most people watching this the United States, but maybe not. What can we personally do to clean up and remodel our country? And our community. So like on a smaller scale, what can we do to clean up our community? What can we do to help remodel our community? Especially after this pandemic, things have kind of been in upheaval. It's time to rebuild things now. So next we have our social network. So that's a little more personal. The people that we keep in our social network. Are there any stagnant relationships that we need to clear out or fix? Do we need to build new relationships? Definitely something to consider. And of course, our own home. What in our own home do we need to clean up? What do we need to remodel? What in our mind? What thoughts do we have going on that are detrimental to us that we need to clear out? Those recurring thoughts that, basically go nowhere, but just add negativity to our minds. And what do we need to do to help remodel our minds so that we're thinking in a more positive way? And then of course our bodies, our shells, the home of our soul. What do we need to do to clean up our bodies? Do we need to change our diets? Do we need to, go get a haircut? Put that on your list, and also consider what you want to do to remodel your body. Again, that can also tie into your diet, like adding good things into your diet, adding a physical, fitness into your diet, or into your day, something like that. And last, I want to talk about the soul as a space that we occupy. And, that's our true essence. Are we really connected to our soul, or do we need to clean something out so that we can be connected further to our soul? So again, these are just the spaces that I felt called to me, that I felt we needed to, reevaluate, and like I said, add some renovation to. But feel free to tailor this however you like. If you want to draw a picture of a home and put, in each room a different thing that, you want to work on, do that. Do whatever calls to you. I definitely suggest that. But I definitely want to, point out to you all that this is a really, really good time, like I said, to come back home to yourself. So whatever that means to you, especially the last year or so has been kind of crazy, and it's time to come back home so that we can be ready for, whatever rebellious humanitarian sacrifice we're going to have to make soon, which I definitely think is coming. And I definitely think it has something to do with the earth, but we can get into that in a couple of weeks. So I definitely want you all to reach out to me if you have any questions about this video. It's Cancer, so we're kind of wading through all the emotions, of course. Like I said, I do tarot readings. If you haven't had a tarot reading for me, I definitely suggest reaching out to me about that. I'll have a link to contact me about that. And if you've noticed, I pulled some of my candles. I, of course, make candles, meditation candles, and I pulled my Shades of Love candle and my Blue Bayou candle, which deals with emotions. So I thought those were appropriate for Cancer season, but I definitely have some other candles, so I'll definitely put a link to my Etsy on the description in case that's something that you're interested in. And again, I definitely suggest really taking some time with this Cancer new moon and feeling at home with yourself. So I want to wish you all a wonderful time with this new moon and a wonderful day. And I thank you so much for listening to this video. Please like it, please subscribe to my channel, and please feel free to reach out. Thank you. Goodbye.